So I would say within the first week, all of the clients left. All of the clients.
All of the
Yeah,
clients
all
left.
of the clients left. All of the clients left as soon as we announced. And then all but one of the assistants left. With seeing everybody kind of, mass exit, we were like, all right, well, let's just redo everything.
Jaclyn Poole is the CEO of Mod Assistants, a nationwide provider of personal, business, and virtual assistant services, powered entirely by a US-based team. She bought the company and grew it to 50 plus assistants and turned Mod into a go-to support system for busy professionals across the country. Jaclyn, welcome to How I Bought This.
Thank you.
Excited to have you on. My first question where I want to start off, and I feel like I've forgotten to ask this question on every podcast I've ever done, is what does Mod Assistants do today?
Yes. So we are a personal and virtual assistant company. So we have two sides to the business. We have the personal side where we are supporting households. We are supporting usually families with kids with household type tasks, with meal preparation and walking the dog and errands and all that sort of thing. And then the other side of the business is our virtual assistants, and that is more business administrative focused. So there we're working more with small business owners for their admin tasks. So yes, we're helping across both the personal and professional lives of our clients.
Okay, so how did you all get into this space? It seems like a pretty niche space. Were you a personal assistant before, or how did you even figure this out?
I was, yes. I was a personal assistant, but it started because my sister who likes to she likes the idea of starting new businesses all the time. She came to me in 2015 and was like, hey, this business I found is a personal assistant business and it's for sale. And I immediately thought, okay, that's really cool because I was a personal assistant. My second job out of college, I was a personal assistant for a dermatologist in Ohio, and I loved it. I loved it. It was like my favorite job ever. So I spent half the day at the office doing all of her calendar, marketing, that sort of thing, and then half of the day at home with her kids doing all the household stuff. And it was my full-time job. So yes, when my sister approached me about this business, I thought, oh, okay, this seems really cool. I loved my personal assistant job, and it's, a unique business that I thought could be fun.
So your sister found this opportunity without even asking you. She's like, Jaclyn, you should
Yes.
buy this business.
Well, buy it with me.
Yeah.
Was her exact word. But no, she called me on like a Thursday, and I was at the time like a social media consultant. So I was already on my own, but it was really small. I only had 5 clients. It was just me. And she called on like a Thursday afternoon and she was like, hey, like, let's buy this business. And she just went through the whole thing and then somehow convinced me to do it.
Gotcha. And like while she and you were reviewing this business, was there anything in particular that stood out, like why this business was a good opportunity or what got you excited about it?
Probably because it was so unique. Because it was this idea of a fractional personal assistant. So when we purchased the business, it was only personal assistants. They did not have the virtual side of it. It was run by one woman. She had it for 8 years. She had a team of 5 or 6 assistants. She was doing assistant work as well. So it was still really small, but they had a really good reputation in Denver. That's where we purchased it. And it was this idea of a fractional assistant because most people think of a personal assistant as something that's only in LA or New York City and it's a full-time job, and they think of the Devil Wears Prada. So we thought it was cool, this idea of, hey, you're having a personal assistant come help you with your laundry and things that overwhelm you at home for 4 hours a week. So yeah, it was just a good idea.
Do you remember speaking with the owner and during like due diligence while you're reviewing the business of like what were you like really looking for, I guess? Because you have like the personal assistant background, you social media, so you have a lot of these adjacent services. Like what were you asking during due diligence or while you're talking to the owner?
Yeah. What we really wanted in purchasing a business as opposed to starting fresh, we might not necessarily have gotten in the end, but what we wanted was an established business. We wanted to walk into a business that already had some processes in place, already had assistants in place, already had clients. which is probably what most people's answer is when they purchase a business. They don't want to start from scratch. So that is definitely what we were hoping for. And that is certainly what we were presented at the beginning, though it might not have necessarily worked out that way.
Okay. So that kind of like brings us into the next kind of phase of like day one, you walk in and take over. What happened? It sounds like something
Um,
happened.
so I would say within the first week, all of the clients left. Um,
First
all
week,
of the client,
all of the
yeah,
clients
all
left.
of the clients left. All of the clients left as soon as we announced, and then all but one of the assistants left. So they all left with the current, with who was the current owner.
Did the current owner start another personal assistant business, or okay?
No,
So
nope, no. She was retiring. Or moved into another part-time role. She did not want to do the PA work. So no, we weren't worried about that. It was more just they were very attached to her. The team was very attached to her. A lot of the clients were very attached to her. So while in the beginning we thought, oh, this is a nice established business, all of the clients love it, they talk so fondly of it, it was really her that they loved. So then when she left, they left with her. She also uh, we wanted to change some ways that she was doing things, which maybe we should have not tried to do that from the very beginning. But some of the changes I don't think the clients liked because she was just willing to do whatever they wanted to, and we wanted to put more of a structure in place. But yeah, clients are gone. All but one assistant was gone.
did did the owner stay on for a period? I mean, it sounds like a week that everybody left. So did the owner stay on for a period of time, or was it just
Not
everything changes?
yeah, not really. She worked with us as we were kind of going through the processes she had in place and the finances and everything. But no, she didn't really stay on. She was ready to be done, and yeah, I guess after we saw everybody leave, it was kind of like, well, what's the point?
How did you? I mean, this is probably a good learning here. So with an assistant business that's all across the U.S. At that time when you bought it, was it just all in like Colorado? Okay,
All Denver, yeah.
okay, all in Denver. So when you told the staff and the customers, it wasn't like a virtual thing. You could see them face to face, or how did you tell the staff that you bought the business?
Yeah, so with the clients, we did just send an email. So we didn't talk to each client. And it wasn't a big business. I guess let me think. So she had 4 or 5 assistants, and each of the assistants probably had 2 or 3 clients. So the clients just got an email. And I think we did have her send the email, if I remember correctly. So it was coming from her. So it was almost like an introduction of us. Um, and then the assistants we got on a Zoom call with to talk through. We didn't talk in person. I wasn't living in Denver. My sister was, so she could have done that, but we decided to do Zoom with both of us. And it was fine for the phone call, but then they decided to leave.
Okay. All right. So the big surprise early on is you buy the business, you take over all the clients and all the employees, except one,
Gone.
effectively left.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
Yeah. Uh, so what we were left with was she did have a very good online presence. So we did end up changing the name of the business, but she still was established online to the point where like we don't even have to do marketing in Denver right now. I mean, it's almost 10 years later, so we've been around for a while. But we, from the very beginning, it wasn't. We had a very good online presence, which was nice. That was really nice to have. We still had all her Google reviews online and all of that. So that was nice to have. I will say that. But yes, with seeing everybody kind of, mass exit, we were like, all right, well, let's just redo everything. So we changed the name of the business. We changed the pricing and the pricing structure. We did a whole new branding for it. And we added in the virtual side because at that time she only had personal. So we added in the virtual assistants as well. So I guess we just took it as an opportunity to change everything.
Yeah, virtually start a new business.
Yeah.
When when you were looking at the business itself and analyzing, I guess, acquisitions to buy, was having a strong online presence part of like the metrics you guys were looking at, or did this just happen to be like the cherry on the cake that you guys didn't know about till you took over?
It's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would have put that at the top of our list to have, but yes, once we realized how helpful that really was, now if I were to buy another business, I do think I would look at what their online presence is, because it really has helped us from the very beginning. And even though we changed the name of the business, at the time, there was maybe one other personal assistant company in Denver. So that was nice that she already had a little bit of a reputation, and she had a great reputation. So that was helpful for sure.
And hindsight's always 2020. So if you were able to tell young Jaclyn in 2015, like you're buying this business, what would you tell yourself to do differently? Because obviously you've gone through quite the ups and downs in the first, I want to say,
Yeah.
normally I say 90 days, but this is 7 days, which is kind of crazy to say.
I don't know if there were better questions we could have asked. I'm sure there are questions we could have asked to realize how attached everyone was to her. I feel like you read business books or listen to podcasts, and they always say, if you want to eventually sell your business, don't make it about yourself, because then this is what happens. So yes, I'm sure there were questions we could have asked, and we might still would have purchased the business from her, but then at least we would have known, hey, we're going to lose everybody. We're basically going to be starting fresh. We didn't see that coming at all. So yes, I probably would have asked different questions to figure out, just so we knew what we were getting into.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that, I think about is maybe a transition period that the owner could have stayed on for a little
Yeah.
bit of time, but it sounds like that the previous owner was ready to walk away.
She wanted to be out. Exactly. I mean, but you're right. You could negotiate anything. So we probably could have negotiated a little bit more time with her, and maybe that would have given us more time to establish a relationship with her clients, or with her, her team of assistants. But yeah, it was hard because she wanted to be done.
Makes sense. So this is
Yeah.
this is honestly like a success story because like you acquired this business, five assistants, and a fair bit of clients there. Everybody leaves in the first week, but now like fast forward to today, you have 50 plus clients. You're all across the United States. Your product offering is like so much more, I guess, like advanced now because you're doing virtual and like in person, which has got to be tough here, and with such a large team. So I guess like, can you give us a little bit of insights in what your day to day looks like?
Yeah. As of right now, I am in a very nice position where I have managers in place. So obviously for the first few years, I was myself and my sister, when she was in the business, we were doing all of the back end, everything. But now I have managers in place. I have an assistant, of course. So a lot of the back end of the business is being handled by them, and I can really focus on growth and helping to move the business forward. But still, on a day-to-day basis, I still have to deal with all the little things that come up, which is fine. I don't mind still being in the business, because then I just think that I can help clients more, because I know what is happening on an everyday basis.
hmm I was talking to a business owner recently, and they had just opened up a new location of their business, and it was all the way across the United States. So they had a distributed team, and they were saying this is very tough because you don't see them all the time.
Yeah.
You're like 10 times, 50 times really more complicated than that. So how do you manage a team that's so dispersed?
We try our best to stay in touch with the assistants. I think something that's really important is getting to know each team member's personality, and picking out who really wants and responds well to a lot of attention, and who really wants to be left alone. Um, and then just stay on that level with them. So we do always check in with assistants. It has to be by Zoom. I'm sure they hate me for that, but I want to see them every once in a while. But we only really make them do check-ins with their manager once a quarter. And then we have some assistants who really do want and appreciate more of an involvement from their manager. So they're talking with them once a week, once every 2 weeks, however much they want to. Um, So yeah, we try to just stay in touch, but meet them on the level that they want to be at. And then I always like to get to know everybody on the personal level, so know their family, and we celebrate birthdays and celebrate anniversaries. And if they have a new house or a new baby, we try to celebrate with them, even though, this could be happening in Oregon and I live in Pittsburgh. But we try to stay in touch as much as we can.
Yeah, and I imagine when you bring on a new assistant, because every time I feel like we're talking, you're interviewing somebody.
Always.
There's got to be some sort of training that you have, flushed out to help them get up to speed, or maybe you're looking for assistants who have assistant experience.
Yes. So both. Yes, we require experience. I think that's something that does make us a little bit different. You can certainly take on anybody really and train them to do the job. But I want somebody who has life experience. I think when somebody hires an assistant, they want to be able to just hand things off really easily. They don't, of course, there's going to be some onboarding for someone learning a new business or a new household, but the clients don't want to have to go through training somebody. So someone who has life experience, I think, is really important. So yes, everybody on our team has some kind of experience on both sides, personal or virtual. But then we also have we have a pretty planned out onboarding program for the assistants so they can learn everything about us and how we do things, because of course every business is a little bit different and we have our certain policies and procedures and technology that we use. So yes, we have a little bit of both.
Yeah, makes sense. And I think you touched on a pretty interesting point here of the client themselves. They have a thought of what they want the assistant to do, which probably you and your sales team has to understand that, and then you pair it to the assistant. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. And then to that point, what do we not know about personal assistants? Because it seems like it's a space that not everyone in the United States would have access to, but more and more you talk to people, a lot more people than you'd imagine have assistants.
Yeah, especially virtual. I think virtual assistants in the last probably since COVID, really, but even a little bit before that, a lot of people have virtual assistants now, a lot. Personal assistance is a little bit different, but it definitely is growing. I think most of the time people don't realize that you can work with a personal assistant on a fractional level. I think people think you would have to hire a full-time assistant or even a part-time assistant. And in your household, you kind of think, oh, is this just a nanny? I don't think a lot of people realize there is this different category for household help. But yeah, to be able to hire somebody to come in just a few hours a week, I think is what most people don't realize is out there. And that's not just us. There's concierge and PA services all over the country.
Mm-hmm. And then for these hours a week we can do this in personal and virtual in 2 segments here. How is a personal assistant helping your clients in this time that they service them on a weekly basis, both personal and virtual?
Yeah, so I would say the most popular task that we're helping with on the personal side is like a 3-in-1, and it's meal planning, grocery shopping, and meal prep. So it's the planning of all the meals for the week. It is going to the grocery store, buying everything, stocking the fridge, stocking the pantry, and then helping to prep some of the meals. On the personal side, most of our clients, it is a dual income family with kids. So a busy family. Meal planning and meal prep is really helpful to them. So I would say that plus laundry are probably the 2 most popular on the personal side. On the business side, it's emails for sure. Any kind of help with emails. Everybody's a little bit different, but somehow helping in their inbox with organizing or prioritizing or answering emails on the client's behalf. That is definitely the number one thing.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. And then when you bought the business, you alluded to it was just in person, and then you layered on this virtual assistant piece to the business. Have you done any growth drivers to help grow the business, or has that been a huge key point that when you added on this product line or service line, this really helped you take off?
I would say throughout the almost 10 years we've been in business, it's mostly worked out to 50-50. We are at any point during the year usually 50% personal, 50% business. Sometimes it varies, but I would say it always is about even. So sometimes I do focus more on growing the virtual side, and other times we're focusing on a new personal market or opening in a new market. But even when I do that, it somehow levels out to even, and has been like that since we added the virtual side. So I definitely think it's helped us that we added the virtual side. Obviously, that opens us up to working across the whole country or internationally. We have international clients. Um, but yeah, no matter what, it always ends up even, which is weird.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like because you've opened up so many different markets, you have, and starting from like when you acquired the business, you virtually had to start the business right after.
Yeah.
You have, it sounds like from the outside looking in, some sort of like playbook that you run to get your feet on the ground and grow the presence, and then obviously find people who need assistance. Do you have
Yeah.
something like that? I mean, obviously your experience, you've been able to do this pretty successfully.
Yeah. As far as like picking out our personal assistant markets. So right now we're in Denver, Dallas, Austin, and Phoenix. So I, of course, do some online research and look at metrics and things, but I like to follow where the Californians go. I'm serious because people in California know and appreciate the art of delegating their household tasks. So 10 years ago, a lot of Californians were moving to Denver. Then they started flocking to Texas. And now we see a lot of people in Arizona, a lot of people in Florida. So yes, that's usually my idea for where I want to go for personal assistance. And I don't at this time want to be in any of the huge markets. New York, LA, I mean, even Chicago, those scare me. Those are just massive markets.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. And then I guess like for these growth challenges that you have and overcome, um, how have you been like able to like overcome some of this like growth, like entering into a new market? It's just doing a lot of
Yeah,
analysis up front, and then I know you travel a lot for work, like getting boots on the ground, quite frankly, to enter a
right.
new market and then grow the business.
Yeah, we've always grown slowly. I mean, even from the beginning, we're still a very small business, even for being 10 years in. And I've always been fine with that. So I don't think I put too much pressure on us in a new market to have, a whole team of 20 people within a year. I think relationships are really important, especially when you're thinking about like a household person, having someone come into your house. I think a lot of people want to have a personal connection with the business. They want it to be a locally, not necessarily owned, but a business that has a local presence. So I definitely take my time in the new markets to build out those relationships with other businesses that we can align with and have partnerships with. And definitely spend time on finding the people, finding the assistants, because that's obviously the most important part. You got to have good people, or no one's going to want to use your service.
What's harder, finding the assistants or finding the customers to use the assistants?
Finding the assistants for
Wow.
sure. It's hard to find good people, but it goes up and down. Sometimes you'll get this like wave of awesome people, and you're just like, where are all these people hiding? And then it goes down, and you find nobody, and all the interviews tank, and it's really frustrating. And then it goes back up, and it's up and down, and always has been.
Gotcha. Funny. And then if I look into the future, like how do you see the future of like personal and virtual assistants happening? Because obviously there's like a lot of technology changes
Yeah.
that are happening.
Yeah, I did see it, something on like TikTok about that. I mean, they announced like a robot to do personal assistant tasks, and he like passed out on stage, which
So
I
your
thought was
competition is
interesting.
now Tesla. Elon Musk.
But this was a different company. This was like I forget where this was, in Europe somewhere. And he came out and he like fell forward and started smoking. Anyway, it's really hard to figure out what's going to happen with the industry on the virtual side. Obviously, AI is a big thing. Right now, it's helping us. It's an advantage that we can use because it's helping us do our job more efficiently. But yeah, who knows what's going to happen in the future? I'm not too worried about the personal side yet, but yeah, I guess you never know.
Yeah, if these robots are falling over
Robots.
and smoking, I don't know if they're going to be the best at picking out groceries and doing meal prep.
I was secretly a little excited when I was watching the video and I was like, oh, there goes my business. But then it didn't work out. So I was like, okay, I feel better now.
Mhm. I guess more broadly speaking, like there's a lot of movement right now, people trying to buy a business, and your experience, quite frankly, hearing it on this thus far is kind of terrifying. You buy the business, you lose all the employees and all the customers. What type of advice would you give someone who's looking to buy a business in the next year or so? Talk to the business owner, make sure that they.
Yeah. Well, really, I think I said it earlier, but like asking the right questions, and I guess you don't really know what to ask. So maybe talking to other people who have already done this, who have already purchased a business, others in the industry, taking your time um, to really vet out the business ahead of time. I don't think any business acquisition is going to go perfectly. I can't imagine that that's a thing, but it definitely would have been easier for us if we didn't have the little bit of a breakdown we had at the very beginning. So yeah, I would say take your time, ask a lot of questions,
That's a
ask
huge
others.
That's a huge thing I haven't heard any buyers do, where they talk to other business owners who bought like a similar business to be like, what
Yeah,
did you experience day one? What should you have been looking for? That's a pretty unique point that I haven't heard anyone say yet.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean,
owning your own business, you can obviously see like the effect that your assistants have on these like lives of your customers. Like it has to make life so much easier for them. Like what's the most rewarding part about owning Mod Assistants?
I really do like to hear from the clients and hear from them about how much we help them. That's absolutely wonderful, and I don't ever want that to change. But from the beginning and still now, I have always been more focused on the assistants. Everybody on my team is a woman. It's not always that way. We have had men on the team, but for the most part, I think this is a role that a lot of women are drawn to. And a lot of them are mothers who were in the workforce and they have all this incredible experience, or even mothers that were stay at home moms for 20 years. And that is a ton of experience when you think about household type tasks. I really like being able to provide them with an opportunity for income on a part time, flexible basis. So they don't have to get into a full time 40-hour work week job, but they can have something that they're doing for themselves and using their experience. And that has always been really important to me. So that's probably the most rewarding part.
Yeah, and if your employees are happy, I'm sure your clients are happy too. So it's a
That's the goal. Yeah.
well, perfect. Yeah, kind of wrapping up. Where can people, find you and learn more about Mod Assistance and potentially hire your team?
Yes. So we are online everywhere. That's where we do most of our marketing and everything. So because the word assistant is frequently misspelled, which is another fun thing we learned, you can get to our website at modassistance.com, but we also have hiremod.com, like you're hiring mod, easier to spell. And we have it's true,
You've thought of
type out
everything.
assistant type out assistance, you will most likely misspell it. And then we have some social media as well. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. So we're all over the place, and we try to put as much information as possible on our website. So all of the assistants are on the website, all the pricing's on the website, everything's on there, so you can dig in and find out hopefully anything you need.
Perfect. Well, Jaclyn, thank you so much for the time today. I've learned more about the personal virtual assistants business
Yeah.
and your acquisition.
There you go.
But yeah, appreciate the time. And this is how
Thank
I
you.
bought this.